Hi, this is Alix Lynx, and you are listening to Tanya Tate Presents Skinfluencer Success Podcast.
This is Tanya Tate, Skinfluencer Success.
You are listening to Tanya Tate Presents Skinfluencer Success. How can you create marketing strategies to grow a fan base? My next guest is an adult actress, digital creator, and entrepreneur. She went from a 9 to 5 lifestyle as a PR and marketing professional to become a full-time webcam model and successful content creator. Welcome, Alix Lynx, to the Skinfluencer Success Podcast.
Hello.
Yay! Hi,
Yay.
I want to say you look so comfortable.
I am the most comfortable. I'm at my house. I'm chilling. This is my spot. This is like my office area. Like this
Is that
is
your
like
office?
the chill
This is
zone.
this is my office. What are you sitting on? It just looks like big fluffy
It
clouds.
is. It's a couch. It's like a settee, if you will. But yeah, it is. It looks like a cloud. As soon as I saw it, my friend, fellow performer Jules Blue got one, and I saw it, and
Yeah.
I was like, I need that. I totally copied her, but
Oh, I love it. It's so nice. I'm like, I want one.
listen, I'll send you the link if you want. Like it's, I think they still have it up for sale. So.
Yes, let me see. I love it. And I love like the curtain behind it as well. It makes it like so private and
This is like my
cute.
camming custom, because I live in New York City, living is a little bit smushed, but this is like my custom camming, streaming, all the things zone. So,
I like it. It looks good. Anyway, so we are going to go into a whole lot more tools today about camming because that is one of your forte, is one of the things that you got into.
yeah.
So I didn't even give you a chance to introduce yourself. Who is Alix Lynx and how did you get started in the adult industry?
Yeah, so God, it's been a while now. It's crazy how much the time flies looking back. So I graduated early from college in 2010. Let's rewind. Like, I did the traditional, like, let's go to college, let's get a 9 to 5, like, let's get our master's degree and get, that's like the traditional route, like a lot of people go, right? And I grew up just, that was literally all I knew to do. I grew up like in a very, very, very small town in upstate New York, like pretty much near Canada, very blue collar, rednecky, and I can say that because that's where I come from. um, and as soon as like I don't even know, like as soon as I'm cognizant, like even as a kid, like I just had it ingrained in me. I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to live here. It's just not me. It's not the lifestyle I want to live, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like was never for me, and I always felt that way, like since I was a child. Like I just want to get out of here as fast as possible. And you're kind of stuck where your parents are when you're growing up, right? So I went to high school. I always got really good grades. I was very well rounded. I did AP credits, AP classes, honors classes. Like I did like gymnastics, figure skating, cheerleading. And so a lot of all my extracurriculars, I was also very artistic. A lot of my extracurricular activities, if you notice, art and performance. So it comes into
Yeah.
play later in my life, right? And solo performance also, and getting all glam and dressed up and putting on a show for people, right? And I always loved that. I was always a ham. I was always such a ham. I always loved the camera. Like my dad would have this giant video recorder at birthday parties, and I would be jumping in front of it because I just wanted the camera on me at all times. Yeah, so anyways, I did the high school thing. Like I said, very well rounded and all that. But the thing about me was that I was always very rebellious, and even though I was always doing all the things as I was told to do, I was a good girl. But I think that's why I had a rebellious streak, because everything was so structured and scheduled. And in hindsight, that did me a lot of good because I'm still that way to this day. But during that time period, like I just my parents said, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. And like, what happens when you tell a teenager who's already rebellious you can't do things? Of course, I'm going to want to do things. I'm going to want to sneak out. I snuck out a lot. Like nothing bad, nothing crazy, just stuff that I wasn't supposed to be doing, right? I always like to push
Yeah.
my limits and push buttons and push boundaries and always questioning things and asking why. Um, I just did not like being told what to do. and
Yeah.
So anyways, and I was always kind of like corrupting my friends a little bit. Again, nothing like terrible, nothing crazy, but kind of like if we're at a party, like, oh, why don't you try this drink I made? That kind of thing. I was always the instigator. And then I got I really was. And then,
Do you know when I think about you, Alex, I don't think about you as the instigator. I think about you. I have to say, you look quite sweet, quite innocent. It just
thank
you
you.
look quite straight laced.
So I'm
It's
not like a instigator anymore. I think I've gotten all the rebellious energy. I think it's all
out,
channeled into my career, honestly. So that's why the
right?
way I am now, I'm
Okay.
just very chill now. Um, so yeah, I always had that streak in me. And also, growing up, I was never like promiscuous. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, right? It just was not how I was. And so I just vividly, there's moments I remember growing up where, for example, like, going to a girlfriend's house and we stumble across a dad's stack of Playboys, classic story. I'm sure it's happened to many, many people, right?
Yes.
And we open up the magazine and it's like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, wow, these women are just beautiful. And I don't know what it was. I was just like, oh my gosh, these women are gorgeous. Like the lifestyle portrayed was like glamorous and beautiful and just having fun. And somehow in my brain, I'm like, I want to do that. Okay, cool, whatever. So I always kept that in me and I didn't tell anyone that because like I think I told people here and there like growing up, but people would like make fun of me. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna shove this down and not tell anyone, right?
I remember
You
seeing
know?
those magazines, like, and like even your mates' dad had them, your dad had them, and in a carrier bag, plastic carrier bag. Like you wouldn't know what was in the bag, would you? Obviously, it's like stuffed under you. Like, what's in this carrier bag? Ooh, and then you open the pages, and I was the same as you. I was just like, whoa, they were
Right.
beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful women.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wonder what it's like to be like them. And it's that little bit of
Literally.
literally like that little bit of like a snippet when you just said it to me, I'm like, I've had that same snippet where it's like a
Yeah.
flash. It's a flash in your mind, and you're like, there's little snippets in your life where you're like, I can picture myself there. I can see myself being in that magazine. And, we both know we're going to fast forward really fast. We're going to go back. We've both been in these magazines later on. So it's that like when you want something and you really have a vision and it's a strong vision, I'm just saying, look where it can get you.
It works. It works. If it works, and it's crazy how well it works, and it's crazy how simple it is. But I think what happens is just on a little tangent here, I think a lot of people kind of are like, no, that's not realistic. Oh, I can't ever do that. Oh, well, I'd have to move. I'd have to do this. Well, you only get one life, and I've always seen it that way. I think I've been through a lot early on in life. I lost a lot of family members, and a lot of just traumatic incidences in life where it really like at a young-ish age, even early 20s, even mid 20s, and I'm like, I have one life to live,
Mhm.
so I don't want to waste it just trudging through and doing what I need to do and being a cog, when I just and some people are very happy that way, but I just wasn't. I always felt very restless, but I'll get into that. So anyways, yeah, so and then, later on when I was still in high school, 18, I was at a sleepover with girlfriends. Again, I was just saying this on a podcast earlier. I was like, girls are not like as innocent as a lot of people think. Like we were going to like the convenience store to buy snacks. We ended up like buying like a Hustler magazine. There was a DVD inside. You can only imagine what kind of a DVD that was. So we popped that in and we're just eating snacks, just like, oh wow, like just like that. And in my head, I'm like, well, that looks cool. And again, I don't know where this come from, but in my head, I was like, oh, that looks really cool. Like, wow, what a way to live. Like, and in my rebellious mind, like anti the system, anti this, like I don't want the normal route. I was like, what if I did that? So I put that in my pocket. And and then so I ended up going to college, right? And I'm going to college. And during that time, I was about 18. There were a couple instances that also I can pinpoint like how I got to where I am. So The first one is that I used to work at a convenience store with a friend of mine, and Lord knows how this conversation came up, but she calls me one day and she's like, I have to talk to you. I'm like, what? And she's like, basically tells me we had this regular, this guy. He was like very blue collar. I think he was a factory worker, literally a very dirty guy. Like he was very dirty. He had dirt all over
I
him all
thought
the
you
time.
meant dirty, as
No,
in
he was dirty. Like he literally was
dirty.
just covered in dirt, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so we would come to the store every day and she's like, well, this guy, let's call him Bob. Bob said that like if we, me and you, like if we have any old panties that we don't wear anymore, he will buy them from us. And
Oh,
then not only will he buy them from us, but he'll also give us a Victoria's Secret gift card so we can replace the ones that he bought. And I'm like 18. I'm like, oh, jackpot. So there was nothing in my mind that was like, ew, gross, bad, wrong. No, there was none of that. It was like, oh my God, yes, let's do this. Easy money, like WTF. So I go in my underwear drawer and I get like all these like granny panties, like dusty panties. I have not worn these in like 8 years, maybe 10 years, whatever. Put them all in a bag, just like stuff that's either gonna collect dust for eternity or I'm gonna throw them out.
yeah,
So even back then, I knew I was like, well, this would be dumb if I didn't take advantage of this, you know?
yeah,
So we basically had this arrangement with him where he would come into the store, he'd buy the bag. Sometimes we meet him after hours. I vividly remember we met him once in like a Walmart parking lot. This is a real story, by the way. Walmart parking lot at about midnight. And I was driving and she was in the passenger seat and we handed him these big bags and I didn't, and like, I was a little skeeved out and I was probably being dramatic, but I rolled the window down just a crack because like I didn't know like what this guy was like gonna do at midnight in Walmart parking lot. Doors were locked. I shoved it through the crack and he gave us like envelope of cash and the gift cards and I peeled out of there. I peeled out of there and I pulled away into like a gas station parking lot so he couldn't see me. I shut the headlights off. So I was always very, very savvy when I, even at like such a young age, right? And like all, you know, money was there, blah, blah, blah. So there was
oh
that.
my
We had that
God.
arrangement for several months and then made good money. And that was one moment where I was like, I'm making more money in these silly little exchanges than I am in a week working at this crappy job, you know. And so there was one. And then the other one was I was working at the information desk at my college. And I get home from work one day. Again, I'm same age, just about the same time. I was 18. And AOL Instant Messenger. I'm on there after class. I'm talking to my friends, and then I get this like request from like this random screen name. I don't know who it is. I'm like, whatever, sure. And this it's this person sending me a message like, "Hey, I saw you working at the desk today. You're really hot. Like, I have a like proposal for you, basically. Who is this?" And I'm like, okay, like who is this? And he tells me his name. Like, let's call him like John Johnson, right? John Johnson. He's like, I'm John Johnson. I go, went to this school and I know this person and that person. And I'm slowly starting to believe him. He sends me pics, he sends me his Facebook profile. It lines up with all the people that we know mutually. And I was like, okay, you are who you say you are. What do you want? And he's like, well, I think you're really hot. And, you know, I would really love to buy a photo from you. I'm like, what kind of photo? He's like, well, a topless one. Would you be down for that? I'm like, uh, well, how much? He's like, I don't know. I was thinking like $700. I'm like, $700. I am 18 years old. I'm probably making $200 a week at my part-time job, okay, going to college. And so you can understand like how that was a huge ordeal for me. And I was like, I'm still a little skeptical. I'm like, okay, well, I'm down to do this. I will not show my face in this photo. I'll take a pic and I'll send it to you, but you need to promise me that you're going to pay me. But I was like, at least if he doesn't pay me, then my face isn't in it. So I take a pic, I send it to him, the number that he gives me. And then next time I'm at work, I let him know my schedule, and he walks in, says no words, hands me this envelope full of cash, and there's $700 in it. And I'm like,
Wow.
so those two moments, while I was still going to school, it
Yeah.
kind of like kept reaffirming something for me, and that was the fact that I'm able to make money from having a business. That's number. I was just having these revelations. That's number one. Number two, I'm able to make money from something that I already have. How very silly and how very simple. And
Yeah.
number three, there was no like shame around it. I had no shame. I almost felt like I've outsmarted the system, if that makes sense. I'm like, well, I'll just do this. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, why am
Yeah.
I like working these like crappy jobs for no money when I'm able to take like, I don't know, 60 seconds out of my life and take a photo and then just make $700. So those were some revelations for me.
It's a lot.
Obviously, those two things, they were not long-term things, but they just
Yeah.
showed me a new perspective, right? So let's
Yeah.
fast forward. I graduate college. I ended up moving downstate to the suburbs outside of New York City. I finally got out of my hometown. So I start working for a PR agency. That was my 9 to 5, going to the office every day, 9, leaving later. I was sit at 5. I sat at a desk all day at a 30-minute lunch break. And I did that for about a year and I hated every single day of it. And don't get me wrong, the work was interesting. I learned a lot,
Hmm.
just the monotony and just sitting there. And I honestly felt like there was something wrong with me because I'm like, I hate this lifestyle.
Hmm.
Everyone around me, I did what I was supposed to do. I went to college. I got good grades. Now I'm doing my master's degree online part-time, which I ended up finishing. But I was like, this is all that I worked so hard for it, like this sucks. And I seriously thought something was wrong with me because all my other friends were like in the same position and we're just like, well, I guess this is just how life is. So after working at that place for a while, I ended up getting laid off because they lost a few clients, which ended up being the biggest blessing, even though I was absolutely devastated because I'd never been laid off
Hmm.
in my life. I was always a very hard worker. And
Yeah.
because what happened was, and I was sad about it for a few days, and then I really got my butt in gear, and I was like, well, what can I do now to make money? So I started doing promo modeling, and basically, like, that meant I signed up with an agency, and they would, get me gigs. I'd get to drive to restaurants and bars and random special events, uh, street fairs, like random events, and basically like a Budweiser girl. Like for example, like Budweiser would ship an entire box of promo material to my house, and I'd have to like be a representative of the brand. I loved it. It was so fun for me. I just got to like get all dolled up, get all glam, talk about the brand with people, like, and people were
Yeah.
having so much fun because it was like alcohol, so it was in these like fun settings. So I was like, wow, I really like doing this. And then the second thing I did was I started doing like social media marketing consulting work. So I quickly realized how much I liked working from home, working for myself, and working on my own time.
Yeah.
And so I was just in a good flow. And so I ended up, months later, I go to this house party. I'm talking to one of my guy friends, and in passing, he mentions like something along the lines of, "Oh my gosh, I just started like I joined this webcam site and I keep logging on. It's so cool. I love like these women, they're making so much money. All they do is sit around in their underwear, they collect tips, they play games." And he's telling me this just to share a story, but in my head, I'm like, I gotta check this out. So I went home and I looked up the website and I kind of like peeped in on some of the girls' shows and I was like, oh my God, I can totally do this. So I took some long, hard thinking on that because I knew, even at that age, at that point, I was about 23, and I knew if I even do one webcam show with my face on it, I'm going to go ahead and assume it's going to be out there on the internet forever and always.
Yeah.
So I had to sit on that for a bit. So I was like, do I really want to do this? Because if I do this, there are certain avenues in life that I can never take again if I do. And then one day I woke up and I was doing a lot of consulting work for this social media marketing firm, and they had me working a ton of hours. I was not agreeing with my higher upper at all. We'd butt heads all the time. And I was like, I am so done with this. I hate this. What am I doing? So I resigned. And well, let me rewind though, because before that, I actually signed up for the cam site. I was camming, no face, and I was making money. I was making really good money, more money in a day than in a week again. And then that's what flipped the switch for me. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to do this full time. Like, forget it. So I resigned from that job. I started showing my face on cam and I started doing really well. And I ended up being a cam model full time for about a year and a half or so. And then I noticed a lot of the girls were doing shows with other models, and they were also working for companies such as Twisties. And I was like, oh, that would be really great. It would help me drive a lot of traffic to my site. And in my head too, bottom like way in the back, I was like still kind of wanting to explore the adult world. I was like, maybe I can do that. Maybe this will be my foot in the door. I'll start doing the shoots for like Twisties and whatever. So I go to Exotica, New Jersey that year. It's just a cam model. And I had been really actively thinking about, getting an agent and starting to do starting to do shoots. And I end up running into Huggy, production manager for King Former, anyways. And he's still in the business, and Jesse Jones, male talent at the expo. And I told them, I said, yeah, I'm on this website. I'm a cam model. I really want to get into filming. Like, I had picked out an agency I wanted to get with, and I said, this is the agency I want to join. And they're like, do not join that agency. That guy is literally a pimp. And you probably know exactly who I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking
You
about.
know
I was
exactly who
like,
I'm talking.
she went to Exotica, and I'm like, please don't say you signed up with that agent.
No,
I
I
don't,
didn't sign, but I was
I
ready
don't
to.
care. I don't care. I'll say his name. I don't like him. Look at me. I don't like him. He used to be my agent. I'm gonna guess. You can say yeah or no. It's Derek from LA Direct
Yeah, it is. It's
Models.
LA
I'll
Direct.
say, do
It's LA
not. No
Direct. And
one
you know
liked
what?
him. No one liked
I
him.
know that. And you know why? Like, because I was about to ready to sign. And the whole reason why I was going to sign with them is because I go on their roster. I was like, holy crap, he represents all these huge performers. He must be
He,
onto something.
he had like
But Jesse was like, don't.
Alexis Texas.
Yes,
He had
Tory Black.
Tory Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lexi
Hmm.
Bell. Yeah, he had them. His
Yep.
favorites.
Yep.
His favorites that he put all over that head. But he's not a nice man, and he's a bully,
I've
especially when it
heard.
comes to women.
I've heard.
Yeah.
So that was a no-go. And Jesse's like, please don't do that. You're going to ruin your life. I was like, well, who do I work with then?
Hallelujah.
I know, thank God,
Hallelujah.
right? And I was like, well, who? And he's like, I'll hook you up. I'll give you the name of another agent that's way better, Sandra from OC Modeling. I'm like, cool. I contact OC Modeling. I send them my photos. They're like, we like what we see. Can you come out to LA? I'm like, sure. I've only been out there once, and like I was out there with a girlfriend. I just like bought a ticket to LA. I'm like literally YOLO, honestly. I was really excited. Like there was nothing in me that was like, oh my God, I'm gonna do this. I was like, F it, like let's go. So I bought a ticket. I got on the plane by myself. I flew myself out there, rented a car, drove out to the valley, met with them, signed my contract, like hit it off. I reviewed the contract meticulously, which I'm sure people were not used to, and I crossed off a lot. And I wrote like the year was like 3, I crossed it off, and I wrote 1. Like there was a lot of stuff that I just like, and I probably should have had a lawyer look at that, but honestly, like all worked out fine. Thankfully, like nothing happened
Most
with
people
me.
don't even get a lawyer to look at it. Most people don't even make any amendments. They just sign it.
Right. Well, and also like I had spoken to people that were in the agency, and they're like, honestly, like they'll just let you go if you want to go. And I was like, cool. But in hindsight, I would never do that again. Like at this age, I would never do that. I would have a
Yeah.
lawyer look at things. But fortunately, nothing happened. Like all worked out really well. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I basically like I stayed at their condo. Um, I think it was 2 weeks during that trip. I got some shoots. I would fly back, and I ended up flying back and forth several times. And then finally, I was like, you know what? Honestly, I had been very sick of New York for a while. I had always wanted to live in California. It had always looked like a dream, like just like a really cool lifestyle. I was like, I'm 25. Like, I better do this if I'm gonna do this. So I basically like restarted my life. I got an apartment in Hollywood, which because I was the only place I knew of. I was like, sure, Hollywood. So I packed up my life and moved out to LA, and then I just started doing full time, scenes. But I quickly realized it was good that I was camming full time and I was like doing the scenes. I quickly realized that what I was doing, just girl, you can't sustain yourself off of just girl scenes. And so I was doing that and camming. And then I slowly started to really prefer being on set than sitting alone in my house on cam. But it was good because on cam I had learned my work skills, my work ethic, how to produce customs, how to create a profile, how to sell things, like like how to price things, like how to upsell things. Like really, I became really very savvy with that. So but I got sick of it. I was like, I want to be on set. And I was like, well, the only way I can really be on set more is if I start doing boy girl. And at that point too, I was ready because I had seen what it's like to be on set, and it's not like you're just, you know how it is. Like it's pretty chill, like it's professional, you're in
Yeah.
a professional environment. And I was like, well, if I'm going to do boy girl, I'm going to do it smart. So I ended up, long story short, I got my first three boy girl scenes contracted with MindGeek because I was like, who's going to blow my name up the fastest? It's going to be MindGeek. And I was like, well, I better do it the right way. If I'm going to do this, I'm just going to go all in. And so I got those contracted, and then after that, I just started doing full time, performing. I was on set 4 or 5 days a week usually. And then I did that for a while, but even then, since day one, since I started working for studios, because I had been webcamming before, because I had been selling my scenes before from my webcam shows and everything like that, I knew how important it was to be producing my own content. So I was
Hmm.
always doing that. And I ended up joining Puba Network with Ivan, and I did a ton. Like I'm talking like every time I had a day off. And sometimes I would skip a company set and go work for myself instead because I saw the value in long-term passive income because there are no royalties for the company that the companies give you. You get a one-time flat rate check and that's
Yeah.
it. You don't see a dime after. So I said, if I'm going to be naked on the internet forever, I better be able to collect a lot of money forever and ever. And the only way to do that is to produce my own scenes. So I started doing a ton of content trade. And then, politics, as often happened with agencies sometimes, I just felt like I could be getting booked a little bit more and I wasn't for whatever reason. So I was like, I'm not going to wait for someone to pick me to send me somewhere. I'm going to make my own scenes and do it myself. And that's what I did. And that's what I'm still doing to this day. And now I'm just full time content creating because I was right from day one. So here we
I
are.
love it. I love it because I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like, I give it opening question, and you just everything that I've got, like, tick, let's ask her about, like, how she got the agent, how she decided. I'm like, check, check, check. You're
My
answering
life
all the questions
story.
that are already in my mind because I was so curious, about these the way that you were moving through, the way that you were flowing through the business, and the reasons why some of the decisions that you're making and how the opportunities arose, and you answered them all before I even asked you, so I love it. It's amazing.
But I was
You
also really fortunate too because I was at the time, like when I first got in, I was with this guy, I was dating this guy. His parents were really, really, really successful entrepreneurs. And so I learned how to create a corporation, how to file the taxes, how to that kind of stuff. So I learned that stuff very early on, and a lot of people
yeah,
I don't think do until later. So I was fortunate, and I had people to consult with as far as like business stuff. So that was a good thing too.
yeah. I
Mhm.
love it. It's like you're setting everything down, and what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is that you did everything professionally. You had a reason to do things. You knew what you like to do. You had a goal, and you saw something. I see the scenes. I'd like to be in the scene, and you took the steps to move forward to make those
Yeah.
opportunities happen.
Mhm.
Finding yourself an agent, networking with people, talking to people that are business people, talking to people that are trusted, that are in the industry. And there's a
Mhm.
lot of it. I think for people coming into the industry, it's sometimes like one of the things that I always worry about is like, are they asking the right people, or are they just going to jump in head
And
first and hope for the best and hope that whoever's leading them the way is going to lead them in a good path?
I know.
You
I know.
know,
Mhm.
it's sometimes you've got to be really careful. um I want to ask you, because you said now you're doing your content creation, you're doing your clips, so let's talk about the scenes. Like, you know you make a lot of story based clips, so how beneficial is it, do you think, to create these stories for the fans?
I just think like I just try to be diverse is what it is because what one person likes is not what the next person likes is not what the next person likes. So I try to touch on as many desires and fantasies and all the things as that I'm comfortable doing within my own boundaries. And I try to touch on as many of those as I possibly can because I think it's just a lot of fun. And for it's selfishly, it's fun for me too because I get to be a different person every time. I get to play a different character every time. But I think also the stories, even it's not like I'm going into my scenes with like a whole script. It's more like this is basically what's happening. Like I am the neighbor next door and I've invited you over, like that kind of thing. And I think just scenarios that could maybe be happening in real life but might not be, but
Yeah.
could, I like to play. I like to just like play with people's fantasies and just have I have a lot of fun with it. I often wing it too. Like I'll have like a basic structure set out. Like I'll pick a spot, I'll pick a location and be like, okay, I'm gonna do this scene and this type of scene and this type of scene and this type of scene, and then it's really free flowing from there. But I also think it's important to be diverse too, because it's like I can't just wear the same outfit and be in the same location doing the same exact type of scene. Like, yeah, I have to mix it up, otherwise
Yeah.
the fans are just going to be like, oh my God, this girl is like lazy.
We've
Like, what?
seen this before. I've had
Yeah.
that, because we both have an OnlyFans, and you put it up, and they're like, "I've seen that one before," and I'm like, "Well, you've not seen it before because I know it's brand new. I've
Yeah.
just made it and I've just released it." But what they probably mean is that you've wore the outfit before, and it's a totally different
Something.
scene. And I'm like, it's not. I'm thinking to yourself, it's not the same thing. But they will call you out. I've seen it before, and so you have to like keep changing it. Oh,
I change it up a lot. And also it's just fun, to be like, kind of throw people a curveball, be like, well, I bet you didn't expect this kind of scene from me, and look what I did for you. So it's always like I like to keep people guessing, and you never know what my next step is going to be.
it is. It's like sometimes it's like lucky, isn't it? Do you ever do that where it's in the OnlyFans and it's like, ooh, you do a description and it's like really enticing, and it's like, who's going to be behind the box? Like one of the fans said, it's like it can be like it's like a lucky dip, and you click it and you're opening like, oh,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah.
like wow, so
Yeah.
enticing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so we like people don't always know, and you just reminded everyone, when we work for studios we get paid one fee. That's it. We turn up,
Mhm.
we do our work, we get a check, or we get it paid into our bank. That's it. Bye
Yeah.
bye. We don't get
Bye.
any royalties whatsoever. It's not like mainstream. Whereas when we're making the content for ourselves, we can put it up, we can sell it. So, like, talk to me about passive income from the clips. Like, how kind of what are some tips for you that you can share, how people can make the most from the clips to continue to get income from them?
Yeah. So I know especially when you're first starting, you might not have a lot of like a lot of money to work with, right? You can still shoot something in your bed, in your bedroom, So let's say I'm gonna go do a solo scene on my bed. If I'm taking the time, first of all, if I'm taking the time to film anything, I'm gonna do at least like four, let's say, four short, let's say 8, 10 minute clips, nothing 30 minutes long. Maybe they're 15 sometimes, but nothing super long. So that's called batching. So for me, that I makes the most out of my time. So, for example, maybe I'll sit in my bed and I'll do a JOY, and then I'll do another scene in the same outfit, but it's a SPH, you know. So I cater to very different, and then maybe I'll do a third, and it's like feet. But I'm still so I'm wearing the same thing, but I'm very purposely catering to a different audience with the next clip, if that makes sense. So that's number one. Number two, so what I do is and again, this goes back to batching. I shoot a bunch, and I'm talking maybe like 20. This just works for me. I'm kind of a crazy person, but I'll shoot enough content. So I'm sitting on content for about 4 months or so. I have enough content that I can just use. So that's good too, because if you get sick,
Mm.
if you have anything, if you want to try, like, there's so many what ifs, because this is like your body and everything. You never know what's going to happen. I always like to be very well prepared. So that's the second thing. The third thing is that I'll put a scene out on OnlyFans first. and I'll let it sit there for at least a few months. So like my fans that are paying for that will, you get special access to that exclusive content. After it's been on there for a few months, I'll go ahead. I have people helping me with this, but I used to do this myself. I'll take the scene and I'll post it onto clip stores like ManyVids. I want clips. I mean, there's all kinds these days. There's a bunch, and I'll just put Fan Central. I'll post it everywhere. So that way, and I'll put a price on it. So it's like someone goes to the online store and they add it to the cart and they buy it. And oftentimes, like I'll wake up and I'll look at my phone, check my email, and someone has gone on ManyVids and bought like a ton of clips.
Nice.
And I'm making money on something that I took time out of my day, filmed it one time, and now I'm making money on that virtually forever, because I get new
Yeah.
notifications every single day. And I have the sales, like you can link the clip pages with your social media, with like Twitter specifically. So every time I get a sale, it blasts out onto, I have a private Twitter feed that's like locked that you have to request to follow for the not safe for work stuff, but it'll automatically tweet, I just sold this, I just sold that, and it has like the video playing. So people are like, oh, what's that? And it just drives more traffic to people to buy the clip. And then the other part of the clip, aside from the clips, I do stuff like, the texting apps, like Sex Panther is one of them.
Yeah.
And just, you can charge per minute for voice calls, video chats, photo exchanges, like a lot of things. And it's on your phone. It's not hard,
Yeah.
you know?
That's like me.
Yes.
I'm sure that there's the app. Oh, I've probably got a message probably sitting there right now. You've probably got a couple as well.
A
You'll
bunch. And
look.
also, by the way, when I have a clip like of my rounds for the clip stores that I'm posting on, it goes onto that app. And then a lot of times, again, I'll get notifications like, oh, this username just bought 5 of your videos. Well, there's $125 or something like that,
Yeah.
for nothing because I
Yeah.
made it once, So that's
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah. So it's knowing that you make them, you batch them, you store them, you put them somewhere first exclusive,
Yes.
and then later on, then they're going to do the rounds on all the other platforms
Mm-hmm.
that you're on
Correct.
by the description, put it on,
Yep.
enticing, and then the
Yep.
unlocks. I like that. So that's
Absolutely.
really like it's
And you
cash.
just got to start because I know it's daunting. I know if you look at my pages, I have hundreds and hundreds of clips. I started with zero. I started
Yeah.
with zero. You just have to start and make it a habit and make it so ingrained. Like I tell you, it was my top, top, top priority. I have to get as many scenes, not compromising quality. And I was burning myself out for a while. I don't really recommend that, but just sometimes look, at the end of the day, it is a job and it is super fun. I would not have it any other way, but there are times, sure, I wake up and I'm like, oh God, like, but I find once I get into my flow and I get all glam, I'm happy, I'm performing, I'm doing
Yeah.
my thing, like it's fun. So just it's kind of like going to the gym. Sometimes you don't want to, but once you're there, like you're good. That's how
And
I
the
feel
flow
sometimes.
starts.
Yeah, and the flow starts, and then you're so proud. And then I'm so proud, oh, I did all this today, and then now it's gonna be like circulate. And I just made such a habit of doing that for so many years that now like it compounds. It's like investing. Like it just
Yeah.
adds up and adds up and adds up. And now I'm like, holy crap, I have hundreds and hundreds, and I still make more. So
Yeah, I love it. And as well as the clips that you make to put out, you also make custom videos for fans as well.
yeah.
So, talk to me, how important is it to like fulfill their fantasy?
So important. It's so important. And also I've heard like, look, yeah, I know that like sometimes we don't want to do customs, but like you just got to do them because again, it's one of those things where I'm like, they all add up and I batch them and they're all different scenarios and it
Yeah.
gets overwhelming, but it's like one at a time, deliver it. Your fan is so happy when
Yes.
you take time out of your life and you fulfill this fantasy, like their ultimate fantasy, and it's you, like you are their fantasy person. Like it makes them so happy. And like the way I see it, I treat it as a business. Like if you ordered something from Starbucks and it took them 3 months to give you, like, just like a very broad example, that's just one example, but it's like treat it like a business, even if you might not feel like it, like just do it and stay consistent with it. Maybe like once or twice a week you take time to shoot customs. The fans love it. A lot of the fans keep coming back too. Like
Yeah.
they'll just keep coming back for more and more and more. But yeah, it's really important, and you never have to do anything you don't want to do. Like you make the
Yeah.
rules, and
It's
I think sometimes
important.
people forget that. They're like, "Oh, this guy wants me to do this." I'm like, "Well, just don't do it."
I do get custom requests, and sometimes it's like, they want something, and I'm like, well, I'm going to try my best.
Yes.
My foot can kind of reach my mouth, or
Talk
I've
about
got a
like toe
toe.
sucking or something.
Yeah, but I'm like, I'm gonna try my best, but it's probably not gonna be much more than that. And then they're
Yeah.
disappointed when they don't do the things that they ask. So I think sometimes it's about being clear and saying, hey, this is what I can do. This is
Yes.
what you want. This is what I can do.
Hmm.
And this is my interpretation of it.
Yes.
And most of the time, every fan is over the moon. Like,
Totally.
because it's like, yes, you're right, it's you, and you're delivering their fantasy, and you're their dream girl, and
Yeah.
you are giving it to them, and they're so happy. And
Yeah.
it sometimes it does take a little longer. For me, I have to be in the mood, and the house has to be quiet. you know
I mean, you're different.
I'm a,
Everyone is
I'm a mom.
different.
I'm
Right.
a
You
mom.
are
I'm
you are
like,
excused for sure. You are totally excused. Like I can't say the same, so like everyone is different. But I'm just saying my lifestyle, I can't like cut myself that much slack. You're totally like
I'm like, if
same
I got the
different case.
house. Yeah, no, I mean, it's lovely and quiet. People go to school.
Right.
It's,
Yes.
but you've also got to be in the mood as well.
Yeah,
You because you also want to enjoy yourself.
you do.
You
Yes.
know,
And look, if I'm having like a horrible day and I was going to do customs, like I'm not going to do the customs because also like I don't want to give like a half-ass effort into something when I know full well that like it could be better if I just wait, you know?
yeah, and I think
So,
sometimes the fans don't mind waiting if they know that they're going to get an even more amazing result,
yeah,
even more amazing custom coming to them.
right.
And I want to talk about maintaining, finding new subscribers and maintaining subscribers. Do you have any tricks or tips that you'd like to share?
So, as far as finding new and maintaining, I would say like put your personality out there because for a very long time when I first got into the business, I thought I had to act in a way that I thought like an adult actress would act. So I'd tweet like, "Oh, I'm not wearing a shirt today," which is fine, but I personally felt like I had more to share than just that. So once I started sharing like the nerdiest stuff, like, oh, I love Harry Potter and like I'm vegan and like this is what I do for fun. I love dogs. Sharing what makes me me because I firmly believe, and I know this to be true, like every single one of us, we're like a thumbprint, right? We all have our own unique interests and hobbies and things that make
Yeah.
us us. Once you start sharing that, I think that's how you become almost like a magnet to the fans that really are into you. So there's that, and then also like kind of like what is your thing in the adult world? What kind of like what things do you enjoy? I would say only perform things that you enjoy performing because that way your fans are going to organically come to you. And let me rewind here. If you are just starting off, this is where shooting for companies is really, really beneficial. And I will never like knock companies, I'm just saying like you just have to know how to integrate them into your life because you can get so many fans if you go shoot for a big company. And every single time you'll just get more and more and more fans. So that's also could be a really good tool in your toolbox. Also, if you're more on the independent side, you could do like free full length scenes of things like categories that are really, really popular on tube sites. And you could post it onto a tube site, a full length scene for free with the what's it called, watermark to your fan page on there. So they'll be like, oh, I know where to find this girl. Let me go find this girl on this website, if they want more. So there's that. Showing up on the internet every single day. Again, whether or not I want to be, just staying very active on social media, posting stories, posting on my feed. I try to do it every day, if not like every other day, posting on all the
Yeah.
socials. Yeah, so I would say consistency, honestly, is probably one of the biggest things. And it's so simple, but it's not so easy sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then constantly also, like, I'm trying to think when I was like coming up, and still to this day too, what we're doing now, podcasts, like, collaborations with other talent. So for
Yeah.
example, if I go do a girl scene with another talent, her fans are going to come to me, my fans are going to go to her, some of them anyways, not all of them, but that's a very good way to get new fans. I really recommend collaborations over everything are huge, so
We are going to be collaborating, and I've
at some
got to
point.
I got to share this story. So we made a plan to collaborate on one of your earlier trips to LA,
Yeah.
and you said to me, "Oh, okay, well, I've got someone before, and you're going to come after." And so I was like, "So who's the other person?" I'm being nosy. I want to know. It was Cherie DeVille, and I'm like, well, she can stay. I said, if it was anyone else, I would have been like, yeah, tell them to go. It's just me and you. And I was like, oh no, keep Sherry DeVille.
Yeah.
Keep her there.
You're like,
I was like,
I know she's great. I love Cherie. Maybe we can make all that happen
you know,
again. Like I'll
I
be
know.
back,
I am so professional. I am not flaky. If I say I'm going to do it, I do it because I
Yeah.
stand by what I say.
Hmm.
And I was sick.
Well,
And
that's different.
I was so sad. It was like,
I know.
my little boy was sick, snotty nose and a cough. And next minute I'm coming down with it. And I'm like, I'm going to have to tell you.
Well,
And then I
that's being
told
professional, though. That's still part of being a
that is
professional, and
true.
sometimes that happens. Like life happens, and like I told you, I was like, health always comes first, because
Yeah.
especially in
Thank
this
you.
job, you're
Thank
so
you.
intimate with people. Like you
Yeah.
have to put your health and well-being first, because you
Yes.
can't like. And also, if you showed up sick to set, which I know you wouldn't, but if anyone showed up sick to set, I'd be like, "What are you doing? Please don't get me sick. I'm going to be really mad if I get sick now." So like,
Yeah.
it's also a very
Exactly.
considerate thing to do.
Thank you. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
It's that is not like me at all because I am like super consistent.
Right. But I also
But I
believe you when you said that too. I'm like,
yes,
well, she's not like lying to me. Like I knew that. Like you're not like, oh, my
I'm not.
cat died for the fifth time. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
no. Yeah, there are people that you can think, oh yeah, you're pulling a yarn on me, yeah,
Yeah.
telling me a little bit of a bully BS and story, but with me, and we are going to make that happen, and let's get Cherie in because we
Actually, let
we
me
need.
tell you, I already booked a
Oh,
couple locations, so we'll have a little chat later
oh yeah, we
about
will, we
dates and
will.
whatnot.
I am so excited. I will. Yes. Put it in the calendar when you're coming back. And I know that you mentioned to me that you do help guide up and coming talent on their career paths.
Yeah.
So how do you do this? Talk me a little bit through it. How can people reach you and what do you help them with?
Yeah, so I just always say that like if there's any talent, my DMs are always open. Like my on I would probably say Twitter, to be honest, because Instagram can be a little bit crazy. There's a lot going on in those DMs, so maybe not Instagram.
Yeah.
Try Instagram, sure, because I still check them. Twitter too. Slide in my DMs if you have any questions. I'm very like what's it called? Private. Like I respect people's privacy if that's a thing, but like I just firmly like look, I have a really different background than a lot. I'm educated, I'm business minded. I just have that background and a lot of people just don't. Like people come from all different walks of life. Especially like I just think of like, a lot of girls coming in that are like 18, like maybe they've never had like a real job before, like
Hmm.
they're not going to know. I didn't know a lot of this stuff. Like no one gives you a manual when you get into the business. And also, there's a lot of good people in this business, but just like any other business, there are people who will try to like swoop in and take advantage. Like I've heard some
Yeah.
horrible stories like, oh, like my managers or my booking agents taking 50% of my booking fee. I'm like, what?
Like,
No, like so there's
oh,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I just always say, if you have any questions or anything, like please feel free, please slide in my DMs, please ask. And sometimes like I'll tweet stuff here and there, but I prefer to have more like private conversations. But because it's also like I was fortunate enough, like when I was like coming up, I had people around me. Like I would, and yeah, I was probably annoying and I asked a billion questions, but like I would actively seek out information and advice from people that like I looked up to. And even now to this day, I'll message people that like are, like doing better than me, a little higher up than me in their career, like which is where I want to be. And I'm like, hey, how did you do this? How'd you do that? And they're kind enough to help me out. So I'm always happy to pay it forward.
Yeah. Thank you. That is really, really kind of you.
Yeah.
Because I know your schedule is super busy. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing. I want to ask you, you are really successful and you're such a business minded person. You've got the kindness. You are there to like give a helping hand for others. But like, what is that one thing that you attribute to your overall success?
I just have like, I don't know what it is. I just have this nonstop like fire under my butt to just keep going, because it's not even about it. First of all, it's about I don't come from anything. Like I've been financially independent since I was 16, maybe 18, but like 16 is when it started. And it's just like now I'm in the position where it's like I gotta think about how am I gonna take care of my family? Like how, like how am I going to build my dream life, because no one's going to hand it to me. it's
Yeah.
it's on me, and it's a lot of pressure, but I've already done it. I'm already on the path, so I know anything I set my mind to, I know for sure I can do, which is very exciting and also pretty scary. So it's just like this knowing, like I guess knowing my why, like why am I doing this? It's not just for like, oh, the money, accolades, whatever. I have like deeper reasons why I want to be really successful in life in general. And it's just kind of like I'm doing it, might as well just go all in, like what
Yeah.
else am I going to do, sit around?
It's just like,
I just
I think
can't.
you'd be too bored if it was sitting
I
around.
would be so bored, that's the thing. And also I just fully like I'm just also really passionate about like, helping kind of be like a bridge between mainstream, and because I do like a lot of like mainstream like brand deals and stuff like that, and kind of helping show people and brands also like it's okay to work with like people in our line of work. Like it's okay. We're safe. We're cool.
Yeah.
We're chill. Like there's nothing wrong with us. Everybody watches behind closed doors. So let's not make it a thing to be associated with us in public. And I consider myself like kind of a representative of the entire industry in a way. So I always carry myself that knowing that too.
Yeah.
So there's that also. It's kind of part of a bigger picture.
I love it. I love you sharing these insights with us. And you know what? I've talked to you, I've asked you questions and you've talked so much. And I feel like you give us loads of information. It's like
Yeah.
there's a lot to take away from this in regards to
Yeah.
getting your fans, building your fan base, keeping the fans, keeping them loyal, and keeping them happy.
Let me say one more thing too that I noticed, a mindset switch when I was coming up. Don't compare yourself to other people. I know it's so
Okay.
easy to do so sometimes with social media. Do not get sucked into like, oh, what's this person? Why is this person getting booked for that? Why is that person getting booked for that? Don't put your blinders up and work. And you know what? If you're curious, if you want to work with someone, DM them. Take initiative. Like don't sit around and wait for people to come to you and to pick you. Like pick yourself and go after what you want. You want to collaborate with someone, message them. And they're not your competition. You're not my competition. We're colleagues. We can collaborate. We're not competing. We have different fans. We're different people. Every person is a different person. So don't view everyone else in the business as, oh, I'm competing against her. Like that's not a good attitude to have.
Oh, I love that. I just was hit up by some girl from the UK. I didn't even know who she was. She just was inside my DMs because I was following her. And she said, it's a long shot, but I'm coming to LA and I really like you and I'd really like to work with you. So I had to, you got to look, you're like, is this a real person? Number one. Number two, who else is following her? So I look, okay, so some of my friends that I personally know are following her. Okay, so she must be legit. And then I was like, I didn't get back to straight away. And then I thought, you know what? She may or may not turn up. So let's think of a plan, a backup plan, because this is someone that I don't know.
Right.
I'm like, okay, backup plan. I'm going to get a third person in. I said to the other person, do you like her?
Smart.
Yes. Yes. So now it's like, I said, do you do boy girl as well as girl girl? Yeah. I said, okay, boy girl girl. I've got you the guy. Do you want to do it? She said, yes. I said, okay, great.
Oh my
And
God.
so I was like, okay, she's in. And he's like, she looks hot. And I'm like, yeah, she looks cute. And then I asked one of the other guys that had worked with her, and I was like, is she okay? She's like, she's really nice. So I'm like, great. So just from like somebody that didn't, I didn't really know. She doesn't seem to have been in the industry very long. She doesn't seem to have done many scenes, but I can see a presence. And what I saw in her pictures, I was like, she looks like she could be going somewhere. And
Mm-hmm.
by her being professional and doing a good job with other people, it's so easy to just ask other people, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I'm going to be very excited for that. But it's the point is that you can still be up and coming and work with people that you may think have got bigger followings, have been established a
Yes.
whole lot longer.
Yes. 1000 times yes. And that's amazing, by the way. And I agree. I mean, I can think of several, more than several, plenty of girls that I've worked with because I know they're coming up and I see it in them too, like from the get-go. And one's gone on and she's got a bigger following on Twitter than I do. And I love that I like love that. And like another one I worked with, like I met this couple at AVN. They were so charming and so like I was like, oh my God, they're like gorgeous. And now they're just and I gave them a lot of advice. And then, then I worked with the girl and when I was in LA and she was like barely just starting and now they're just moving out to LA full time to do adult film. And I'm like, I love this
Nice.
for you. But it's like I'll do the same. Like if you have
Yeah.
5,000 followers, like I do not care if you're professional and you're like starting up and you have like something out there and we know the same people, like yeah, like let's
Yeah.
go, always.
Yes. So it's so amazing just to help others and to help people succeed.
Hmm.
And as if you're that person that's up and coming, just finding someone that you can ask, for that
Yes.
little bit of advice.
Yes,
So
exactly.
is there anything else that we've missed off that you want to mention today?
I don't know. I don't think so. I talked a lot.
I've
Talked a lot.
got I've got a follow-up. One last question for you.
Yeah.
In a sentence, what's the most important thing a creator can do to build their fan base?
Stay authentic and consistent.
There you go. Thank you
Authentic to
so much.
yourself, Yeah,
Just be yourself.
just be
Be
yourself.
authentic, be consistent, get your personality out there, and enjoy what you do, be passionate about it, and have those little things in your mind. Like I love the little snippets, that we talked about earlier, where it's like, this is where you want to be and you can see yourself there. You can really picture yourself there. And I think that when we think back to those little snippets and now where we are now, you're like, oh, it was coming. We just didn't know it at the time.
It's insane. I look back and I'm like, oh my God, like the things that, I mean, I'm sure you can say the same, like the companies you've worked with, the places you've appeared, the places you've been, the people you met. It's like,
Yeah.
holy crap. But
Yeah.
I mean, we are fully capable of creating our lives exactly as we want to. And I think just, if you have naysayers in your life, just don't listen to them. Like you're just talking to the wrong people.
Yeah.
You really are,
If you can picture yourself there and you can feel yourself there, you can be there.
That's
And
manifesting 101. You get it.
yeah, don't listen to the background chatter. Just no.
The only people that I ask advice from are people who are where I want to be. If that makes sense. Don't take, what do they say? Don't take financial advice from the cobbler, or some old dusty saying like that. Basically, like, don't take advice from someone who's what do I do with my career? Well, don't ask your great grandma Edna if you should do adult film. You know what I mean? Like, probably a bad example, but you know what I'm saying? Like, ask people who are already where you want to be. Like, don't be asking every Joe Blow from the sidewalk, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Alix Lynx, where can everybody find you online?
Yeah, I'm everywhere. So OnlyFans .com/Alix Lynx is the OF, and you can find me on Instagram at the Alix Lynx. Twitter is at the Alix Lynx. TikTok is XOAlex, and YouTube.com/Alix Lynx, and Facebook.com/Alix Lynx. Oh,
Perfect. Thank you so much. It's been amazing having you,
thank
and thank you so
you.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Tanya Tate, Skinfluencer